I have been told, hello everybody, how are you doing tonight? I have been told not once, not twice, somewhere between 12 and 17 times this evening that you are one tough audience to talk to. Is that true? I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Oh, okay, well, yes, no, we'll find out, won't we? I'm up, okay, so I'm here to talk to you about how the broadband network ate my plan. And indeed, it did. Before I do this, let me tell you very briefly about the Intelligent Community Forum so you have a sense of what I'm talking about, why I'm talking about it. ICF is 15 years old this year, and we are two things. We are a global network of about 134 cities and regions around the world who do what this organization does. They share knowledge, they pursue joint development, they network with each other for the benefit of their citizens and their businesses. We're also a think tank that studies that group to learn how communities use information and communications technologies, the things that we all use every day, carry around in our pockets and purses, to create economic prosperity, to solve social challenges, to enrich their cultures, which are things that we don't necessarily associate with ICT, as the Europeans like to call it. So if you talk about, where are these? Here they are. Here are the 134 communities, and you may notice quite how many of them are clustered here in Canada. And that's no accident. Canada has been a thought leader in this field since the 1990s, and it shows. It shows on this map. And a lot of the lessons that we had to learn came from this nation. As a think tank, we run an international awards program, and it's our research project. We offer up an opportunity to cities to become honored, and in exchange, they give us incredibly valuable information. And our mission is to share that with other communities so that everyone makes progress together as opposed to reinventing that old wheel over and over and over again. And so how do we do that? We deliver an educational service we call the Community Accelerator. We publish. Yeah, we publish. There we go. And by the way, you've got to run out and get a copy of our new book, Brain Gain, because, we might run out. So they're going fast. And we also put on an annual summit. And the good news is we've been doing this since 2004 in New York City, and in 2015, that summit is taking place in Toronto. So you have an opportunity to attend, and you don't even have to get on an airplane to do it. And lastly, we've begun having some very productive relationships with universities, setting up institutes to study the many, many topics from education to broadband deployment to innovation that are part of our work. So, enough about me and us. From what I've told you, obviously, we're talking about those smart city things, right? Right, whatever that is, we're talking about smart cities. Well, not so much. Every intelligent community that we look at, that we study, that we name from around the world is a smart city. But not every smart city is an intelligent community. Okay, that's kind of cryptic and obscure, so let's go a little deeper into that. Smart cities are about technology. They're about amazing technology, applying information and communications technology to accurately monitor and measure and control things that, frankly, we've just been estimating up till now. So we're talking about traffic flows and leakage from water pipes and the location of all the vehicles in your city and the behavior of your police force and the amount of salt you're applying to the roads in wintertime to keep people from skidding and the performance of your electric grid and just how potholed your highways actually are becoming. You can now measure that with cell phones in people's pockets. So smart cities are all about saving money. They're all about becoming more efficient and delivering better service to the taxpayers. They are, in short, how you make cities work better. And that's a noble goal. We just don't think it's enough. If you're going to go to all that trouble, it seems to me you should be working on the issue of the people and the institutions in that community. You should be figuring out how to create better cities where citizens and employers can thrive and prosper in this incredibly challenging new broadband economy that we've stumbled into and now have to live with for the rest of our lives and the lives of our children. And Arlington has been extremely successful economically by attracting huge numbers of highly educated young people into the county and who work their little tails off. And actually, my daughter's going to be one of them shortly. She's moving to Arlington. But that's a troublesome group because they're very restless. Because of them, Arlington has population mobility more than twice the US average and a population turnover higher than anybody else in the region. People are moving. It's a transient population. And think about how that fits with the Arlington way, right? And so what Arlington's concluded is the traditional methods of engaging the people are not working anymore. These young people are much more likely to post an opinion to a blog or a social network than they are to come to that Thursday 9 p.m. meeting that you just held to try to gather opinions about your plan. And so Arlington's responded by developing an e-government master plan, not a master plan for anything else but e-government, to bring the Arlington way of engagement into the 21st century. And they've got lots of apps and web portals and social media to redefine how they do that. But here's a simple example. They worked with Virginia Tech, which is a very well-respected technical university, and IBM to develop an app called, develop an app called the Push the Yellow Button. And you get that app on your phone, and they will send to your phone questions, planning questions, opinions. What do you want? Say yes or no to this. And they'll push it out by social media and email as well, and you just open your app and bang, you vote. And they're finding this to be a really, really impressive way to move community engagement from the physical to the digital, and thereby vastly expand the potential for really meaningful connection with people. We're going to go back to Australia, to a place called Coffs Harbour, which I just couldn't resist showing you this photo. This is a skydiver's view of Coffs Harbour plummeting down toward the earth. I assume the chutes open at some point, but I don't know. And in Coffs Harbour, they're piloting two programs that aim strictly at the planning process. How do we make it more efficient? How do we make it easier for everybody? And one of them is called the Electronic Housing Code Program, which comes out of their state, but they've kind of filed off the serial numbers and have made it their own. So users who are property developers use it to find out if their project is going to be in compliance with environmental regulations. Australians are very serious about the environment because they live in a place that frankly is on sort of the edge of habitability all the time, and so they do a good job of looking after it. You go to the city council website, you start using tools that tell you whether your proposed development is either going to be complying or, best news of all, exempt from the environmental regulations. And Coffs Harbour went out and bought a bunch of tablets and equipped all of their building assessment officers with what they need in the field: maps, management records, property records, email. No more trips back to the office, no more excuses about why the paperwork didn't get filed, and you get a streamlined process for evaluation. The Digital Local Government Program, similar idea, but this one, again, totally customized by the city, using accessing data from national government, creates an online program for all property development approvals: pre-application, application, tracking, assessment. There's an electronic stamp for applications and plans. If you're a developer, you can go online and check the progress of your application. You can view the master planning documents. You can submit inquiries. You can do all that good stuff. Now, that's nice, and probably there's other examples from many other parts of the world. But what I like about this is Coffs Harbour really understands what they want. Because what they want to do is create an e-planning system that reduces the delays and the friction and the frustration of approvals. We all know it could be a better process, right? While improving compliance with city policies. Very often we're confronted with that choice that if I want to get development, I've got to bend the rules. I've got to be willing to I've got to be willing to be captured by the people I'm supposed to be regulating. It's called regulatory capture, right? And these guys are not content with that. What they want is better compliance with all the regulations, but to do it in a way that is so easy for the developer that things get done faster. And oh, by the way, reducing trips to the city offices, reducing time spent waiting online, reducing time spent serving people waiting on that line, and copying and filing the documents and all the other things you have to do. So, interesting example of a clever way of thinking it through. The world asks a lot of people in your profession. And I find that particularly ironic because the world is also not in the slightest bit clear what it is you actually do. And an Edmonton-based planner named Adam Bentley put it this way. He said, here's what I think I do. I design the community of the future. I'm thinking about the big issues and the small issues and how it all interconnects. And here's what my parents think I do. I mint money, because of course, you know, I'm a big mocker and I can do that. And well, here's what my friends think I do. They think I work in a 1930s office with a typewriter, and I'm in black and white somehow. And that's what I do. And of course, architects share that view too, because what architects think I do is to look up the rule book and tell them why they can't do what they want to do. Okay. None of that, of course, is really true. Planners try to understand everything that's happening today. They try to create a practical vision for what it means for the community tomorrow. And it's no surprise that that makes you heavy users of information and communications technology, whether it's GIS systems or digital renderings of everything from water flows to traffic flows, or three-dimensional visualization, or aerial photography and video by drone. I'm sure there's some people here who, you know, in a quiet moment on a Saturday, run out and fly that drone just to see what's going to happen to it. These are the tools of the trade. These are what you do, and it's fantastic. But the case I'm making to you tonight is that the planners of this community and of the world need to go one step further. And not just those visionary leaders, but everybody together needs to take one step further. The internet is celebrating its 20th birthday as a commercial entity this year. 1994 was the year that Netscape put out the first browser that we all started to use. And to put it bluntly, on that anniversary, I don't think any planners can afford to be in the position of recommending dumb development to communities of increasing intelligence. In our work with the intelligent community, we see that these communities we're dealing with are taking truly revolutionary approaches to planning. They are driven, quite frankly, less by inspiration than by desperation, because they understand that there is no choice but to change. And they're not looking for a new paradigm. They're not looking for something to take the place of smart growth or the new urbanism. Instead, they're using the tools and the capabilities of ICT to work more closely with citizens and institutions. Using ICT, they're crafting environments that help attract talent and creativity. They're creating memorable and inspiring places, reducing the friction of daily life, and offering services of a quality found nowhere else to make their community the destination. In short, they're exploiting to the fullest possible extent the power of ICT, which is to eliminate distance as a barrier, to minimize physical constraints, and overlay that broadband economy with its rich data and instant transactions on the physical space and the physical economy to make them both better. And that's where we come to it. Because the fact is that the tradition of planning is deeply, deeply intertwined with distance, with physical constraints, with the physical economy. I mean, in many reasons, that's why we plan. We're trying to deal with the constraints. But in this broadband economy that is taking us over at great speed, we're shrinking distance. We're collapsing constraints. And that's the reason that in the Intelligent Community Forum, we really want to work with the planning community to find a broader vision, to find an expanded toolkit. Because remember, on the way from playing the video games with your brother or sister to the midnight mods in your underwear, interactivity has made things take an unexpected turn, and it's created something that never, ever existed before. The world needs the entire profession of which you are proud parts to fully understand how ICT is transforming the city, transforming the metro area, and transforming the broader region, and to translate that understanding into the vision that you're creating for our future. And for all of our sakes, we hope that you do this new and exciting work very, very well. Thank you.